We're in the upside down. Ghetto fights on the front lawn, and America's ideologies being challenged. We're going to get into it. Let's get it. Welcome. First of all, welcome. This is Unsolicited Perspectives. I am your host, Bruce Anthony, here to lead the conversation in important events and topics that are shaping today's society. Join the conversation and follow us wherever you get your audio podcasts. Subscribe to our YouTube channel for our video podcast, YouTube exclusive content, and our YouTube membership. Rate, review, like, comment, share. Share with your friends, share with your family. Hell, even share with your enemies. On today's episode, it's the Sibling Happy Hour. I'm here with my sis, Jay Andrea. We're going to be talking about Trump getting booed, Neil deGrasse Tyson challenging America's lies, and little pee-pees. But that's enough of the intro. Let's get to the show. What up, sis?
What up, brother?
I can't call it. I want to warn everybody, and I know that you're going to give me another indication to warn people. The third segment, ladies and gentlemen, is parental advisory. There's a reason why I said little peepees in this intro.
Yeah.
Because
we're talking little peepees, y'all.
We're talking little peepees, but that's in the third segment. Third segment. In this first segment, we're going to be dilly-daddling a little bit. And Jay, I don't know if you've been watching the NBA Finals. I know you're going to be watching the World Cup. That starts tomorrow. So I know you're going to be watching that. But have you been watching the NBA Finals at all?
I have not. I've heard about it. I heard the Knicks are doing pretty well.
Yeah, the Knicks are taking on the Spurs. The first time the Knicks have been in the NBA Finals since 1999.
Crazy.
It is crazy. San Antonio, the first time they've been back to the finals since 2013. And they're led by a 7'5" freak of nature. Not a freak of a human being. Freak of nature. He's a video game. I literally created him 20 years ago in a video game. Mine was named... My creative player was called Othello Hamlet.
Okay. You ain't read neither one of those.
No, that's not true. I did Othello in high school.
Oh, okay.
Now, Hamlet, I did read the Cliff Notes. Anyway, Madison Square Garden hosted the first NBA Finals since 1999 this past Monday. Nope, Wednesday.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
Today's Wednesday. Monday.
Yep.
This past Monday.
Okay. One of them days.
It was one of them days. And President Donald J. Trump was invited by the owner of the Knicks, James Dolan, to come and partake in the very first NBA Finals games at Madison Square Garden. And if you were watching Fox News, they said that Trump was just cheered. There was a little bit of booing, but just cheered. If you actually watched the broadcast or seen any of the videos from people that recorded while in the arena, he was booed out of the arena.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Of all of the entertainment sports, right? The major league sports, basketball, I feel like, is the most liberal. So if he gets booed at American football games, he's definitely going to get booed at an NBA game. So I found that very surprising that he actually went, not to mention the fact that it's in New York, again, a liberal city.
But a city that he's from. He's a New Yorker.
Yeah, okay. So... and he was liberal until he had these designs on being emperor of the world.
Well, he was a Democrat, not necessarily.
Well, he was a Democrat, or he was registered as a Democrat. We don't know that he was actually a Democrat.
Well,
but
he gave money to the Clintons until I don't know. I don't know what the fallout with him and the Clintons actually was.
They called him and his cult degenerates, and they're not wrong.
Before he started to run, there was some type of fallout. It doesn't matter. We're going to talk enough Trump later on.
I don't know why he went. I don't know why he went. Like, that was the dumbest. Why would you go? Why would you go there?
Because he wanted to be the story.
As progressive as the NBA is, like, just as a league,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why he thought he would have any fans in there. I'm sure there were one or two, but
Yeah,
like,
I mean, yeah, no, New York is still New York. There are certain segments the young man was killed in Bensonhurst in 1989 or 88. Black man just riding his bike and killing
yeah.
Bensonhurst. So I mean, there's some people that's
Yeah, I mean, Long Island, Staten Island still exists, so I
my
get
best
it.
friend is from Staten Island, so
I said what I said.
Yeah, okay, but also Wu-Tang Clan. Okay, so
And that's the only thing.
Long Island got Rakim, God MC. Come on now.
Okay, that's all that's come out of there.
Okay, whatever. There's more than
That
that.
and racism.
All right. We're starting to detour. But here's
Well, I
another
already
reason.
told you before we started that I had a bad day. So listen, ladies and gentlemen, y'all in for it. I'm gonna have a lot of snarky things to say.
Well,
So
there's more to the problem. This is the reason why he got booed. Because he caused 2-hour plus wait times for ticket holders. The NYPD shut down surrounding blocks and watch parties were canceled. So if you had been paying attention to the series, the first 2 games were in San Antonio. New York City, they were still surrounded. People in Madison Square Garden, outside of Madison Square Garden, around Madison Square Garden, just doing watch parties. The city is abuzz for the fact that they back in there.
Yes.
But when a president comes to an event, there are certain security measures that had to be put in place. So that
especially because
safe.
People keep shooting at this dude, allegedly.
Allegedly. We both said at the same time,
we
allegedly.
We both know that it's made up.
One
Fake
of them,
news.
well, he did have a cut on his ear from some glass or something like that. Look, let's not minimize.
You know how wrestlers used to cut their forehead or cut
blade job. Yes.
He had somebody behind him and was like, cut my ear.
No, okay, look, we're not going to speculate and throw out conspiracy theories.
The whole show is called Unsolicited Perspectives. So I'm going to speculate that it's all actors, the paid actors, and it's all fake news to garner sympathy that does not exist. So please stop with the fake shootings. Like, literally nobody cares.
Actually, to say that people out there don't want him dead, that's not true. There are people out there that absolutely want him dead. I'm not one of them because I don't want him to become a martyr. But there are absolutely people. I
just don't believe that we should just wish people dead. So
right, I don't think we should do that in just as human beings. So, but there are people that absolutely, and you know what though? Those people tend to be of a certain persuasion because they're not used to being persecuted against. But that's neither here nor there. Because talking about somebody who, even in death, is still being persecuted.
Yeah.
Michael Joseph Jackson. So I had an interesting conversation with somebody the other day, and they were talking about how they were watching a Fox channel program, and they were saying that young kids were listening to old music.
Yeah.
And she was like, did you know that Beat It is #1 on the charts right now? It's the hottest streaming out song. I was like, yes, because he has a movie out right now.
Yeah.
And the person was like, oh, you mean the documentary? No, I mean the major motion picture that's in the movie theaters.
Titled Michael.
Oh yeah, I heard about that. But I've been hearing more about this documentary. And why?
That's a full bold-faced lie because I just saw an advertisement for this documentary. This movie been on the tip of everybody's tongue for weeks.
It's been on the tip of certain people's tongues.
All right. I feel like that's a lie.
I can see how certain people look. If you watching Fox 5 program, Fox Fox 5 is a station here in DC that's a local
Yes.
Fox affiliate that isn't
Yes.
Fox News.
Yeah.
But if you're watching Fox News programming, I can see how you might not know that there's a Michael movie out, but that you would absolutely know that there's a Michael Jackson documentary called The Verdict that's trying to bring attention again to the allegations that he was found not guilty of
repeatedly
by and Charlemagne the God keeps saying something that isn't true. He keeps saying that Michael was investigated for 18 years. That's not true. It was a 2-year investigation, but he's been involved with the FBI because the FBI used to investigate life threats against Michael Jackson. Like Billie Jean is written from a story. Billie Jean is a song from a story of a person who was writing Michael saying that the child is his and he ain't never met her before.
And listen, Michael was like, listen, wrote a whole song about it. The kid is not my son. And that was very definitive, even though eyes look like mine. Oh, no.
He got a little nervous. I didn't think I'd met this woman before. But here's the problem that I have. And this was the same problem that I had with the Mackenzie Sherrill Netflix documentary. And what has been becoming a trend with Netflix documentaries, and somebody who has done a documentary herself, you can understand this, that there is always a little bit of your bias in a documentary as you try not to be as a filmmaker, because a documentary is literally a thesis paper on film.
Right.
You try not to be biased, but your bias is going to slip into your work no matter how professional that you want to be.
Yes.
Netflix has started to lean into the sensational with their documentaries.
Not started. Not started.
I thought
their documentaries are, to me, always sensationalized. But I mean, that's also a part of it. Like, you do add a little bit of razzle dazzle, right? But you still want to be true to like what actually happened, or at least if you don't have the truth of what actually happened, present both sides equally. But yeah, you're going to put a little razzle dazzle on it. You want people to watch and you want them to be entertained by it as well as learn something from it.
Okay. Sensationalized, it wasn't the right word. I should have just stuck with bias. But it's sensationalized and then bias. When I watched The Tiger King, it gave me just everything. Did it kind of try to paint people to be villains? Yeah, like Making the Murder. They kind of, but even with that documentary, Making the Murder, they presented the case so clearly. I'm still like, I don't know if he did it or not.
Yeah.
Now these documentaries.
Listen, I was hating on Carol Baskin. I do not know that lady.
I do not know that lady at all. But
we don't know what happened to her husband.
We do. But we have no clue.
But boy, they made it seem like she had done something, or she was
they gave the facts sensationalized, right? Like they didn't say that she did it, but
look at the picture we're painting and read between the lines.
I think that's when it kind of started with these Netflix documentaries. It's already been stated, and I will not watch this documentary because I knew what it was as soon as I knew what it was as soon as I saw the trailer. It's not a pro Michael Jackson documentary, and I don't need necessarily a pro Michael Jackson documentary. I just don't need an anti Michael Jackson documentary. Just give me the facts.
Just give me a Michael Jackson documentary. I mean, but we've had so many, and including ones that are like, in his own words, he was involved in the documentary. Like, we've had so many. This has been worked to death. Like, honestly, it really, really has. And the fact of the matter is, he was found not guilty by a jury of his peers. So that's the end of it. Yes, was the movie Michael a pro-Michael movie? Yeah, it was made by his family. Of course it was. But you're right. Yeah, we don't need like anti stuff, especially when we already know the answer is that he was found not guilty. It's just like people, like, have I ever watched Titanic? Leonardo DiCaprio. No, I already know how the movie ends. What do I need to watch that for? I've never seen it. It's very long, and I don't want to sit there when I know what the ending is.
It's
So,
funny. It's funny,
all
though.
right. All right. If you say so. I'm never going to see it.
Yeah, I was laughing in the movie theaters while everybody was crying. That actually made me laugh even harder watching everybody tear up. I was like, this ain't no John Q. John Q, I can understand you crying.
John Q, boy.
Yeah, but
if
not
you don't
no
cry at
Titanic.
John Q and Denzel Washington, if you don't cry at that, do you have a soul?
Look, when he puts the gun to the head, take my heart. You put my heart in his heart. Look, let me tell you something. Y'all, I've said it before on this show. Just watch John Q if you want to be in your feelings.
Yep.
But Michael, I'm going to keep watching the Michael movie. I'm not going to watch this biased documentary from Netflix, and I'm really pissed off that they came out with this documentary
Netflix
along with Michael Jackson movie.
Look, Netflix got to make their money, so I get it. You know, they keep raising prices and stuff. They have a lot of very expensive programming, and so they got to make up their money somewhere, and that's going to be with these documentaries. And yes, there is an audience for a documentary like this.
Mm-hmm.
There absolutely is. There absolutely are people who are anti-Michael Jackson, who want this documentary and who will watch it and will talk about it, just like you got engaged in a conversation about it. Will I watch it? I don't know. If I'm bored one day, I might, just to make sure that I'm keeping up. Sometimes I do things just to make sure I'm keeping up with pop culture so I don't get like left out of the conversation. But, you know, we ain't asked for it, but Netflix is going to give it because somebody asked for it.
Yeah, I don't have FOMO, so I don't really give a damn. I can miss this in pop culture. I'll be just fine. All right, one last thing before we end this segment. Serena Williams came out of retirement. 4 years away. Her last match was in the 2020 U.S. Open, where she kind of retired. But she came back in June 1st. She came back. She did a couple of doubles, still serving serves up to 120 miles per hour. Her husband and daughters were there to watch her. She's undecided about doing Wimbledon. Wimbledon?
Yeah, Wimbledon.
Yeah, Wimbledon. I don't know why I put a T in there. Don't know why I did that. Singles, she's just taking it a day at a time. But the fact that she's 44 years old is a question of, when Michael came out of retirement for the Wizards, people have a lot of revisionist history, but I was there in the moment. And I was like, oh, he's not as good as what he was. But now in retrospect, he was a 41-year-old man still dropping 20 a game, making all-star teams. So Serena still coming back, doing 120 mile per hour serves. Let me tell you something. I can't do that.
No, and she got her semaglutide, and so she dropped that baby weight, and she's in good shape, and and so she like,
the GLP.
The GLP-1, she on her GLP-1 and got back into fighting shape, and she looks
She's
good.
not a fighter. Why did fighting shape?
She be out there grunting like she fighting. She is fighting. She fighting for them trophies. So shout out to her. I mean, hell, like if you feel like you're not done and you still got more in the tank, and you're still out there competing like at that level, like do it. I don't know. What's she gonna do? Just sit back and enjoy her millions and billions?
I mean,
that's boring. She's only 44. I know that's old as an athlete, but not as a person.
Hell no, that's younger than me. So hell no, that ain't old.
So like I can definitely see, and especially when you devote your whole life to something, it's kind of difficult to retire from it.
Yeah. That's all you got to say about that?
Nah, just shout out to her. I love Serena.
Okay.
All right, girl. Swing them rackets.
But for me, here's the uncomfortable part people don't want to talk about. What's interesting about all three of these stories is that they force us to confront how we measure greatness, popularity, and legacy. Donald Trump can be one of the most powerful people on earth and still walk into an arena and hear thousands of people tell him exactly how they feel. Michael Jackson can be one of the most influential artists in human history and still have his legacy debated decades after his biggest legal battle ended. Serena Williams could step away for 4 years, come back at 44 years old, and remind everybody that greatness doesn't always follow the timeline we expect. Because legacy isn't something you get to declare for yourself. It's something people decide after they've seen the entire picture. The accomplishments, the mistakes, the controversy, the impact. And sometimes the hardest thing for people to accept is that no amount of fame, power, talent, or success allows you to control how history remembers you. History always gets the last word. Jay, I sent you something the other day because our dream guest was on Club Shay Shay.
Which is like, it's like a knife to the gut because I would have definitely asked much better questions. But all right.
Hold on. He's got a whole team behind him to help him craft the questions. The questions weren't horrible.
Stinks.
No, they weren't horrible. Shout out to Shannon Sharpe for getting...
He don't do no research. He reads them questions off that card.
Yes, he don't do the research himself. He reads the questions on the card.
Because you could tell in his follow-up questions.
I was going to get to that. Look, Shannon, we don't mean to knock you. However,
you're bad at this.
He's not bad at it.
He's bad at it. At interviewing, now watch him when he does his sports commentary. He's very good. I'm not even going to take that away from him. When I was watching him the other day. It was a show. It was him and Ocho Cinco and somebody else.
It's another podcast because he ain't on First Take no more after he had that little dialogue with that young girl.
Right. So sports commentary, great. Top tier. That's his lane. Trying to interview an astrophysicist, that was somebody set him up. Because why? Who did this? Who said, Shannon, you got this?
Look, when I sent you that clip, I said, Shannon is and okaying him to death because Neil deGrasse Tyson has this tick when he's explaining something that is extremely complicated because he's an astrophysicist.
Yes.
He asks a rhetorical question.
Yeah.
And it's basically, understand and you get it? It's rhetorical, right? It's not meant to be answered. But Shannon was damn sure answering every single time, and okay. And I was like, you and okaying me to death. And no, you don't understand. And I sent you the text, Shannon out there.
Don't even know what rhetorical means.
Stop. He might know rhetorical. He is a college graduate, I think. Savannah State University, HBCU down there in Georgia.
HBCUs. That he didn't do his schoolwork.
Whatever. I sent you that text and I said, Shannon is fighting for his life. Do you remember what you said back to me?
I said, Shannon ain't that sharp.
Boom, boom, boom. That's so corny. But I chuckled my ass off.
Cause it's corny don't mean it's not funny.
That's true.
Right.
However, I'm going to tell you why he did a good job. Because he got something out of Neil deGrasse Tyson that he has said before on multiple platforms. But on this platform, it gets amplified because of the audience. Yes. A lot of times, Neil deGrasse Tyson is on these platforms and let's just say that we're not representative of the audience of those particular platforms. Not to say that like he's sorting them out, but a lot of times he's talking about astrophysicist type stuff. Yeah. And, you know, I mean, not to say that we don't have a lot in that field because there's Neil deGrasse Tyson right there. Yeah. It's just to say that where he goes, like people aren't going to those particular platforms for entertainment.
Ain't nobody listening to Star Talk.
That's not true.
On their ride to the club.
Because that's his podcast.
Yeah, I love Star Talk.
Yeah.
But if you're talking about the same people that watch Shannon Sharpe are not. Okay. No. Chances are.
No. Let me tell you, the people that was watching Shannon Sharpe was probably pissed off that it was Neil deGrasse Tyson and not somebody like, I don't know, Even though I love her, Glorilla, but Glorilla's already
I
been
was
on
about
there.
to say Sexy Red, so we were already
Yeah, we was
in
there.
sync there. Yeah.
But Neil deGrasse Tyson, like I said, has said these particular things before.
Yeah.
But on this platform, it's starting to get traction within certain communities that haven't heard these. And what he was basically doing was arguing about ancestry and exposing the fact that these racial hierarchies in America are false and they collapse under the pressure of science.
Yes. Because again, race is a social construct. It is not based in science.
None. So some of the key takeaways from the interviews were like all modern humans originated in Africa. Everybody is from Africa.
Yes.
Skin color is an environmental adaptation, not evidence of a separate race.
Right.
Africa contains the greatest genetic diversity on Earth.
You can literally find every kind of person on the continent of Africa. And indigenous to Africa.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who are confused, Africa is a continent. A continent.
Yes.
Not a country.
Y'all kill me with that. He's from Africa. There are 52 countries.
Yeah.
On the continent of Africa. You can't just say somebody's from Africa.
Neil deGrasse Tyson showed, he was like, in this interview, he pointed out like how big is Africa because it gets misrepresented on maps.
Yeah.
He said it takes 5 USAs to fit into Africa. That's how big Africa is. And I might be wrong. He might have said 5 North Americas because Canada and Mexico, North America. So he might have said 5 North Americas. He said scientific racism was deliberately created to justify slavery and colonialism. The intelligence and inferiority narrative survived because they remained politically useful. And African civilization was intentionally erased from popular historical narratives.
Yeah.
So one of the first things he said when he talks about all modern people originate from Africa, he was like, people like going back into their gene pool. And at a certain place that they'll stop. They'll stop at Italian and Irish, German, Swedish, and Polish. And he's like, no. You got to keep going. You got to go to that generation before that and generation before that. And when you go all the way back, you'll find out you are African. But it's not beneficial for people in America to say that they're African.
Yeah.
Because if you say that, you can never, he doesn't say this is what I surmise. Because if you say that, you could never be white.
Yeah.
And I remember watching this TV show, Fresh Off the Boat. And it was about this Chinese family that moves from DC to Orlando.
Yes. Yeah.
And the mother says to her Chinese son, if you get lost in the grocery store and I can't find you, find a nice white family. You'll be safe there. And when the show first came out, I was just like, oh, that's funny, right? Because they really wanted to be a part of white society. But now I'm like, no. Stop trying to assimilate, be who you are. And he's saying it doesn't matter that you are Chinese. Because guess what? You come from Africa. So a lot of people are just now finding out about this.
And that's not even like the things white people tell their children. Like they say, if you get lost, find a black woman because she's going to get you back where you need to be nowadays.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's absolutely true. Now, it is not impossible, but virtually impossible to trace your ancestry all the way back to Africa. And even in a lot of like the DNA ancestry testing and stuff, they'll stop at whatever European country you come from. Like it won't go all the way because again, it's also like how we're defining the information that we're getting from the DNA, right? Like it's also like saying, oh, you're Irish because people with your DNA predominantly come from this place. We're not going to go all the way back to see where you all originally came from. We're going to go back as far as like what's reasonable. And
I would question what's reasonable to whom, because
exactly.
Yeah, because people stop at Irish. Even these systems that we create stop at, well, this is where you're the most white. Let's stop here, because it's culturally beneficial to stop there.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. Because again, even though this race is not scientific, it is a social construct, and it is a form of identity that is so deeply ingrained in all the systems and history and everything of this country.
Not just this country.
Not
everywhere.
just this country.
Everywhere.
But America did some real different things around race.
Yeah.
Other people, they didn't get that harsh, but they didn't take it to where America took it and for how long America took it there.
I don't know. South Africa, the Danish got a little.
That's true. South Africa, you invited to this
Britain as well. Britain and destabilized a lot of.
They abolished now within the island of Great Britain. They abolished slavery and all of the things. Now, their territories, quote unquote, in mostly black countries.
Black and brown. Don't forget about the Middle East.
Yes, in black and brown countries, they did some real damage there.
So Neil gets a little flack from the religious groups because everybody is like, civilization started when the Bible said it started, like 6,000 years ago, right? Roughly around that time. No. And he is like, no.
We've literally found fossils thousands of years older than that.
230,000.
Yeah.
He said the Great Migration out of Africa started 50 to 70,000 years ago. That's when the human population started to, like, what's over there? I'm going to go over there and see what that's about. What's going over there? It's starting to get a little crowded over here.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's just he gets a little pushback from people that are in the Bible that are super religious, that says the Bible is a historical document of the universe. And he's like, no.
No, it's really not.
Yeah. Earth, he was like, we've been here for 230,000 years.
Yeah.
Earth is millions of years old. The solar system and galaxy, millions of years old.
Yeah.
It's been here a long time.
A long time. And so have human and humanoid type folks, right? Like, we've been here for a very long time. You got to understand that the people who wrote the Bible were not around when any of this was happening.
Not even close.
They weren't. And that would be the same people that are like, Adam is the first man, but he's not. God created people on the sixth day. And also, if he was, then how did his children have spouses? So, like, we were already here.
They was really into incest back in the day. That was kind of a thing. Matter of fact, that only ended in Britain in like the 1800s, maybe.
There's some cousin loving going on.
Yeah, it was a little different.
Yeah. Well, it's a tiny island, so
it is. They should have migrated. So skin color often, and Shannon Sharpe asked a question, and I was like, it was one of his detour questions. I'm like, stick to the card, brother. Stick to the card. But he asked a question about skin color, and Neil deGrasse Tyson says, look, when people migrated from Africa, there was a separation. There was an ice age. There's things that separated land. It was all connected at one point.
Yes.
Then it was underwater, and people lost connections.
Yes.
So they evolved based on their environment.
Correct.
So the closer you are to the equator, the stronger the sunlight, the higher the UV exposure, the more melanin gets developed.
Yes.
The further away, the less sunlight, less UV exposure, the less melanin gets developed. The process takes place over thousands of years, and it's an adaptation, not a hierarchy. So when people are like, when people get on this thing and they start to say that they are superior because of a particular race, no, you're not.
No,
your people was just either near the equator or not near the equator.
Yeah.
That is all.
That is all. It's just an evolutionary adaptation. That's it.
That's it.
But when you start to like dig in to these social constructs like race, like sex or gender, like sexuality, when you start to like dig into them, you realize like there's nothing substantive holding this up, right? There is actually nothing scientific or substantive holding up the idea of separate races. Nothing. It was made up. Everything's made up. Stay woke, but it was made up.
Stay woke. Yeah, like when the Mormons said that black people were descendants of Cain. I know y'all trying to sweep that one under the rug, but that's what y'all used to believe, and there are still cartoons that you can find on YouTube that they used to show all their little kids. That was the lessons that y'all was teaching. But let's move on, because I'm not going to just be attacking people the whole time. I'm trying to teach y'all something. He also talked about, and as I stated earlier, that Africa has the most genetic diversity. What does that mean? So a common stereotype about Africa is it's underdeveloped, poor, and behind. But what the science says is that the greatest genetic diversity on Earth comes from Africa. Most genetic variation of any other continent, most genetic variation within Africa then exists for the rest of the world combined. So there are more genetic variations in Africa alone than everywhere else combined.
Yeah. It's so funny because you literally can find every hair color and type, every eye color and type, every skin color and type. And even like there was a content creator, there's actually several. I want to say that she is Nigerian, but she does like makeup and stuff. And a lot of Asian folks get into the comments and say she's Asian fishing because she has almond-shaped eyes. But that's actually very common on the continent of Africa, because you can find every single thing, like every single kind of way a person can present. You can find every height, every weight. It doesn't matter. Like, you can find it on the continent of Africa.
So a great way to describe this is Africa is the entire library. The rest of the world are selected books out of that library.
Yes.
That's what it is.
Library and library. Both.
Did I say library? I always say that shit. I swear. You've been joking on me for years about that. What's some other words that I say all jacked up? Y'all swear up and down that I say lab. What do y'all say?
You say laptop. You do. You do not say laptop.
I put the P in there. I say laptop. I don't say no laptop.
Say laptop.
All right. Here's another thing.
Yeah.
That he pointed out. So in the evolution, the church people about to be mad at me, but in evolution, what do they say? They say monkey, Neanderthal, man, right? Like that's the evolutionary tree.
Yes.
The common joke is that black people are apes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like the racists. Look, let me tell you something. The racists. Just go back to, there was a situation in Ole Miss either this past fall or last fall where it was a fraternity and it was a young black female student in there debating with them, and you hear them doing monkey chants. This was a year ago, 2 years ago. It wasn't that long ago. That's been the common misconception. The common like stereotype of black people were like monkeys, which is
weird because we like natively are not hairy people, or
exactly.
like it's just so strange for that to be. It's strange.
Well, here's the kicker. There have been DNA testing. And in European populations, approximately 1 to 3% have Neanderthal DNA.
Yeah.
Do you know how many present in African populations?
I would say 0, honestly.
Exactly, 0.
Yeah.
Neanderthals live primarily in Europe and Asia.
Yeah.
Those populations that left Africa encountered and mixed with them. So no, right? So black people were not closer to primitive primitive beings, and the science has said that that's wrong.
Yeah, we're Africans, Homo sapiens evolved in Africa, and that is what most of us have evolved from, Homo sapiens, not Neanderthals. But I know that there are a lot of folks in very like northern Russia type area that carry Neanderthal DNA.
I would have said it would have been the Vikings. That would have explained why they was whooping ass for so much.
Yeah, but no, we're not no damn Neanderthals.
But this isn't about saying one group is superior, because that's not what we're saying. It's about showing how completely backward the old racial narratives were, and the evidence points in the exact opposite direction. So what was that old saying? What you say to me bounces off to me and sticks to you. It was something like that.
I am rubber, you are glue.
Yeah,
what you say to me bounces off me and sticks to you.
But people often imagine racism coming from ignorant people, but the reality is it came from institutions.
Yes.
A lot of science, key figures like Samuel Martin, Francis Galton, they created these sciences like eugenics and things like that. And it was the sciences,
phrenology and all kinds of bull.
Right. And it was all created, science, to justify slavery, colonialism, segregation, and racial hierarchy. These ideas weren't a mistake. They were tools, and the tools were designed to protect power.
Yes.
And this got me thinking, because, like I said, you go to school and you learn certain things, and you learn basically, even us being in elementary school and me in Illinois and then in Richmond and then eventually in Lynchburg, Virginia, and you and our brother in Lynchburg, Virginia, you hear these stories because they're from the South that basically implies that we're inferior in almost every way. And when the science breaks down, then they start going to skull measurements and IQ tests and crime statistics and poverty rates, anything to perpetrate this caste system that they've created.
Yeah, because again, like I said before, it has a basis in nothing. So they have to make up science and make up theological reasons, right? Oh, we're descendants of Ham, or we're descendants of Cain, or something like that. You know, they have to make these things up, because otherwise, any kind of scrutiny, the idea of race just does not hold up.
Mm-hmm. And I often, Egypt often tries to get written out of African context, right? Or even when it's explained or talked about, it's given away like those pyramids, the aliens must have came and helped them. Because how could they create something? How could they have this advanced civilization and we didn't have this advanced civilization?
They discovered pulleys sooner. I don't know what to tell you. They discovered pulleys and levers sooner. What do you want me to say? I mean, that is just the objective truth. There were universities started by primarily like the Muslim population in Africa. There were universities, and we were traveling and sharing knowledge like that has come out of the continent of Africa. Like, I don't know what else to tell y'all. It's resource rich. That's why everybody trying to get a piece of it. I mean, we all saw, what was it? Was it the day after tomorrow, 2012, where like the whole world was destroyed except for Africa? It actually like rose. Everybody was fine. I don't remember which one it was. I want to say it was the day after tomorrow, or hell, it might have been 2012. I don't know. Whichever one had John Cusack in. But like, but like, what y'all want me to say? Huh? What y'all want me to say? We had written text, libraries, universities. You don't think we could figure out that if you give a triangle a base, that it is a strong structure that will last in perpetuity?
Well, Neil said the evidence of the fact that they built the pyramids is because of pyramids that weren't finished, because the slope wasn't quite right to finish. So you see these unfinished pyramids and then the finished product. That's the evolution of, oh, that doesn't work right. Oh, that isn't. But it's tough. It's tough for certain people to recognize that the architects that they had, the information that they had at that time, made them more advanced.
Might have worked out the Pythagorean theorem before Pythagoras.
Okay.
Might have.
Pythagoras was a person?
Yes.
Okay. You learn something new every day. Wasn't in my wheelhouse. That's outside of my wheelhouse, and you learn something. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm teaching y'all something and learning something at the same time. Pythagorean was a name. What type of name is Pythagorean?
Pythagoras is
it's Pythagoras.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's the Pythagorean thing. And I want to say
that sounds Greekish, and Pythagoras does sound like a name that somebody from the olden times would have had. But the only thing that I want to point out is
Greeks
that
Neil deGrasse names back in the day. Just saying.
Because of the name?
Greeks had some names back in the day.
I thought you said he had some dames.
No, he had some names.
I'm getting older.
He got like Theseus and like they had them names back in the day. Like, I don't know why they didn't keep that up. But
no. But basically what Neil deGrasse Tyson was telling you is that also all these social constructs that, more specifically, I don't know what they teach anywhere else because I didn't grow up anywhere else. I grew up here in America. But what they teach you in America is all a lie, and science proves it wrong. But we know how people feel about science because Joe Rogan is still on his podcast talking about how, what is it, a Victamine or a Victamine was what cured his COVID. And it's a horse tranquilizer. So, but
that don't have nothing to do with nothing. Quinine, I don't know what it was called, but it ain't something we supposed to be taking, so don't do it.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, that was Neil deGrasse Tyson. That's the reason why I wanted to talk about it. Hey, Neil was dropping knowledge, and I'm hoping because Shannon Shay has a different audience, the people will pick up on that, learn, because there are some people that are of these groups that internalize that, and no, you should realize that these social narratives that have been put on us are all false.
Yeah, there was never ever any merit to them, and it goes back to that idea of like, if you are superior, why do you need to actively oppress others? And then just look at the trajectory of Black people since we were brought to these shores. And in what way have we ever shown ourselves to be inferior? I don't see it. I don't see it. And I think the powers that be know this, right? So they don't want us reading. They don't want us voting. They don't want us in their schools. They don't want us seeking higher education. Yeah, there's all of these restrictions on like abortion access, but nobody's asking Black women to have babies. Nobody's asking us to have babies. It's just criminalizing us when we don't want to have them, but and criminalizing us when we do have them, right? Because then suddenly we're welfare queens. It's always been a game of propaganda in order to maintain an unjust power structure. And that's all I gotta say about that.
Well, here's the uncomfortable part people don't want to talk about. What makes this conversation uncomfortable isn't the science. The science is actually the easy part. The uncomfortable part is what happens after you accept it. Because if humanity begins in Africa, if race isn't a biological hierarchy, if skin color is simply an adaptation, if Africa contains the deepest genetic history on Earth, then a lot of the stories that we've been told start falling apart. And maybe that's why people fight these conversations so hard. Because history has never just been about facts. History has always been about who gets to tell the story. And more importantly, who benefits from the story being told that way. People love to say history is written by the winners. While that's not always completely true, what is true is that the people with power usually have the loudest pen. They decide what gets taught. They decide what gets left out. They decide which heroes get celebrated and which villains get sanitized. Look at what happened after the Civil War. The Confederacy lost the war, but organizations like the United Daughters of the Confederacy spent decades rewriting how that war was remembered. They pushed the lost cause mythology, the idea that the Civil War wasn't really about slavery, the idea that Confederate leaders were noble patriots, the idea that enslaved people were somehow loyal, happy, and cared for. An absolute lie. But they got that lie in the textbooks. They got that lie in the monuments. They got that lie in the classrooms. And for generations, people learned a version of Southern history that was designed to protect Southern pride instead of tell the truth. Now, fast forward to today. We're still fighting over who gets to tell the story. In 2025, President Trump signed an executive order promoting what his administration calls patriotic education, targeting what is described as anti-American or diverse narratives in schools and cultural institutions. His administration also issued an order called the Restoring Truth and Sanity to American History, directly changes at institutions like the Smithsonian and criticizing historical interpretations centered on systemic racism. Now, whether you support these policies or oppose them isn't even really the point. My point is this. Everybody wants history taught. Nobody wants history taught in a way that hurts their side. Everybody says they want the truth until the truth challenges a story that we've been comfortable with. That's why I always tell people to do your own research. And no, I don't mean watch a random YouTube video and call it a day. I mean actually dig. Look at the sources. Look at who wrote the sources. Look at why they wrote the sources. Look at who benefited from those sources becoming accepted as truth. Because sometimes when you do your own research, you discover the source was mistaken. The source was selling you a narrative designed to protect power, a narrative designed to justify what happened, a narrative designed to make certain people the heroes and certain people disappear. And that's why Neil deGrasse Tyson's comments ultimately force us to confront our history, not where we come from, but why so many people work so hard to make us forget. And once you start pulling on that thread, you realize this conversation has never really been about ancestry. It's always been about power. All right, Jay, now that you've done joking on how I say humanity, y'all, she was killing me during this break. killing me, man. I know. Look. Certain words ain't the greatest with me.
What is what is humanity?
What do you study when you in college? Humanities.
Humanities.
Yeah, that's what I said. Humanities.
Yes. Nope. Or if you're from New York, human and humanities.
Well, I'm from DC. Maybe that's just how DC people say.
They do not. Don't put that on DC.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, we told y'all from the jump, this segment, parental discretion is advised.
Yes.
Because we talking about little peepees. And what do I mean by little peepees? Jay, I have not watched the video. I have not sought out to watch the video. I will not watch the video. But I've seen enough social posts to tell me about the video. And what video am I talking about? There have been some internet sleuths that have done some hacking and have gotten a hold of these Diddy freak-offs. Okay?
Yeah.
They've gotten a hold of the Diddy freak-offs, and there was something that was discovered by watching one of the most recent Diddy freak-offs, and it's that Diddy has a little pee-pee. And from what it's being described by not only the people that have seen the video, but also Diggler, who was one of, Puffy's people that he hired to have sex with his women.
Yeah, Sly Diggler, a male content, adult content star. Yeah.
Right. He said, when asked, Vlad TV asked him how big Diddy's was. He was like, it's probably about 3 inches. I was watching the Joe Budden podcast, and they were like, he's got a micropenis. And it actually explains so much.
Yeah, it does.
It explains so much of his actions, who he is as a person, how he why he reacts to certain things. That would legitimately make a man angry all the time. Just an angry person. And of course, also pick on people that's smaller than him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Not surprised. They're calling him Itty Bitty Diddy.
This is not funny. He doesn't have no control over it, but he does because there are penis enlargement surgeries.
No, I mean, micropenis is a real thing.
It is a real thing.
It is, I don't know how to speak about the community. I don't want to be offensive. The reason that we're laughing about it is not the fact that he allegedly has this condition. It's the subsequent behavior that comes afterward, where you're like, oh, that's little dick energy.
Yes. It's kind of like, when women would say men had all these fancy cars or these giant cars that they were compensating for something. People tend to compensate when they're lacking in certain departments.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to shade those people that are in that community, the micropenis community. Look, that must suck. And I would almost rather have missing limbs. And Jay, you know how I feel about missing limbs. I say take my whole life away. There's supposedly some floods.
Absolutely ridiculous.
There's some floods going on in the Midwest. And I was watching on TV while I was working out with a client the other day. And I said, if I got caught up in them floods, just go ahead and let me go away. Because I don't want to come back. Because ain't enough washing to clean me off of that dirt, being trapped in that dirty ass water for that long. Let me go. But you know what? I would rather that.
Just need you to value your life more. But okay.
I mean, I do value my life, but I also value how I want to live it. Right?
Okay.
I love my life, but I also realize that if you take my arms away, how am I going to hold my drink? How am I going to play video games?
Yeah.
How am I going to touch a woman, caress a woman? You know what I'm saying? How am I going to do those things? Life ain't worth living if I can't do those things. You take all the joy out of life. What am I supposed to do?
There are plenty of people in the micropenis community, though, I'm sure lead very fulfilling lives, including sex lives.
I'm sure that they do, because, okay, I don't want to get too explicit. This is the Sibling Happy Hour, and I'm with my sister. But I've always said, if a woman can pleasure herself with a finger, then it pleasure herself with a micropenis. But for Puffy in particular, there is penis enlargement surgeries.
I don't know that
Is an option.
Can work. I feel like you have to have I don't love this topic. I feel like you have to have a certain amount of material.
Almost through my headphones right now. I knew that's where you was going. I'm about to have a heart attack on here.
I don't know. I'm not a physician, so I don't know.
You say you can't make a banana split without the banana?
But I think if that was a viable option, you would see fewer people with micropenis.
Yeah, you got to have more than just one apple to make an apple pie, huh? That's what you basically saying.
The material has to be there. So
yeah, that's I take a suit jacket to the what do you call the people that, I don't know why this is
a tailor.
Thank you. I don't know why that slipped my mind. Yeah, probably because I'm just tired.
Difficult to have clothing enlarged. You typically have clothing taken in.
Take it in, not enlarged.
So,
but I don't know the science, or not the science, the surgery aspect of it. I would love to have a plastic surgeon on here, but there are women who literally have no breasts.
Yes,
that can have breasts. So I'm saying, wait a minute. Transgender women can have penises through surgery.
Yes, I think. I don't know.
Oh Lord, ladies and gentlemen, don't quote us on this one. Hey, this one is more of an after hours uncensored right now. We just free balling, no pun intended.
No pun intended.
All right, so hey, look, but that explains a lot about Puffy. Joe Budden was hilarious because he was just like, that should have been his defense. If that was his defense, they probably would have let him off.
No.
He done already suffered enough. Already suffered enough in life.
It just doesn't give you carte blanche to be a dick. No pun intended.
You sure? It seems like there was plenty of pun that was intended.
It wasn't at all. That was just the word that came to my mind. But yeah, it doesn't give you carte blanche to be an asshole. It doesn't give you carte blanche to be abusive.
No, you're right.
He just not free to do those things. Like, you can, regardless of your, I don't want to say disability, challenges, right?
Yeah,
challenges. Like, regardless of your,
I think you can say a disability. I mean, it's a physically documented thing. That's a disability.
I don't know that it's a disability.
No, that sounds like a major damn disability.
Well,
that fits the very definition of disability.
I don't know. I don't think you get ADA accommodations from micropenis.
You should.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying that regardless of anybody's physical or mental challenges, you don't just get to be a jerk.
True.
There is still choice in there about how you want to live your life, working around or with whatever challenges that you have. Like, that you still, you get to a crossroads where you got to make a choice of, like, do I accept this as part of who I am and try to lead the best and most fulfilling life as I can, or should I take my frustration out on other people?
Yeah, you're right.
Should I compensate by accumulating wealth, fame, and power, and then using that to be abusive and oppressive to other people? That's a choice. And I don't think having a micropenis gives him a defense against a choice like that.
I absolutely agree. And let me be clear, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not giving him a defense. I just think it's funny and I'm cracking jokes. But I also believe it explains a lot. It explains a lot. Not saying that these two things are equivalent, and I'm going to get killed for this, but I'm going to say it anyway.
If you already know.
Well, it's my damn show. I'm going to say it
That's
anyway.
true. Yeah.
As we know, most sociopaths develop from not being shown love from their parents as children and babies. Right?
I don't know the mental health science behind.
I've watched so many documentaries and read books to understand it. That's what it is, right?
Yeah. Okay.
There's a reason that they act out the way that they do. It's a lack of empathy.
Yeah.
Okay. The reason why Diddy acted the way he did is a lack of dick. And he did serious stuff.
Yes.
And he should be punished for it. Should be punished more.
Yes.
Because he was already punished at birth.
Truly.
But we're not going to stop there. Because it is evident to me, even though it is not documented, because he probably got people signing NDAs right and left. Even though Stormy Daniels hinted at it.
Hey, y'all, break them NDAs.
No, because sometimes
what they gonna do?
Sue you for everything. Yeah, no.
Are you talking about Diddy? I mean, he's in prison. What's he gonna do?
Well, this next person definitely will sue. Okay. So Stormy Daniels hinted at it, and every action that he does, I'm like, okay, yeah, this is
LDE.
Mm-hmm. Me being here in Washington, D.C. this weekend is that stupid, most ghetto fight on the front lawn of the White House. Now, somebody said years ago, hundreds of years ago, that there was boxing matches on the front lawn. So I did some research. It's not true. Theodore Roosevelt, who was a practitioner of jiu-jitsu, used to bring in military aides and boxers and stuff like that. And in his presidential, in the estate, he would have a certain room where he would spar. Theodore Roosevelt was about that, getting that action in. It wasn't on the front lawn. It was indoors and closed off room. And it was with people that, like, he wanted to get a little workout in.
Yeah.
Very much like Clinton taking jogs and people feeling tennis court and Obama playing basketball.
Right.
So this has never been done before. There's never been a fighting event on the front lawn. And the whole city is shut down because we can't move.
I can guarantee this is the first UFC fight.
Well, UFC,
on the lawn of the damn White House. This is the most ghetto, ratchet thing to ever occur at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
You ain't lying.
And it would be with the president of the most ghetto cult I have ever seen. Because y'all are trash.
Look, let me tell you something. I'm so furious. My homegirl was like, hey, we're going to go to this bar. Her friend is coming to town. She was like, what are you doing this weekend? And I was like, I'm trying to not do anything because I've been doing a lot the last couple of weekends and my social battery just ran out.
Yeah.
She's like, hey, my friend's in town. I haven't seen you in a while. Let's go watch the FIFA Cup games. And I was like, all right, okay, where? She mentioned this bar in the city. And I was like, this weekend? Like, you do realize the fight is this weekend. They are literally starting to shut down the city now for a fight on Saturday. Ladies and gentlemen, we're recording this on a Wednesday. The fight isn't until Sunday. This is 4 days away, 5 days away, and they are already blocking off roads. They just told us, don't drive in the city. You're not going to be able to get around. If you try to drive in the city, which is already complicated anyway, you're going to have more than just a little bit of trouble. So they shutting us down, and just the presentation of it. And they said that it's bleachers and all types of stuff. And they said that they might not take it down. It might stay up there. If this ain't some broke down cars in the front of the lawn, because don't forget that he was trying to sell cars on the front lawn with Elon Musk. Everything that they thought Barack Obama was going to be. Everything.
Yeah.
This man is doing it.
Hey, everything that they thought that Kamala Harris was going to be, right? Because there was that, I forgot which, some white woman that said that it was going to be like an Indian call center at the White House. What? Yeah. No, this is literally the tackiest thing that has ever occurred on them grounds. I mean, just tacky. It's tacky. What's next? RV parking on the South Lawn?
I mean, he said he was going to, because the concert, the Freedom 250 concert basically was canceled. You know,
yeah, because everybody was like, oh, y'all lied about what this was for and who was hosting it.
There is a confusion because there's an American 250 celebration that is designated by Congress that they've been planning for almost a decade for this event.
Yeah.
All the money hasn't been allocated like it's supposed to. Instead, they've been siphoning money off for the Freedom 250, which is a Trump-backed situation.
Yes.
And I ain't gonna lie. Some of the stuff that the Freedom 250 got going on, I was really wanting to partake in. They got an F1 thing coming into the city. I was like, oh, it's an F1? I was like, oh, cool, I'm gonna go check that out. Till I found out it was Freedom 250. I said, I can't go. They got a whole state fair at the mall. At the National Mall, ladies and gentlemen, not at the mall, at the National Mall. It was going to be different types of food and vendors and all types of rides. I was like, oh, I'm going to check that out. That is Freedom 250. And I was like, I can't go. I can't, I'm not going to do anything just because it's not about America 250, which I got my whole issues with a 250-year celebration. How you going to celebrate a country's existence when the country didn't live up to its existence until 1967? Not really until women got the right to have their own credit cards and things like that. So maybe 1970.
Hell, at least we could start at Juneteenth when everybody was free. At least start there.
At least there, which was 1866? June 19th, 1866. I think.
6 or 7.
Lord. Yeah, it was one of those two. So you got me on the whole celebration of the 250 anyway. But
yeah,
I am going to celebrate. It's America's birthday somehow. So I'm going to celebrate it, whatever 65,
it is. 65, 18.
It was 65 because I thought that war ended in 65.
Yeah, and it
wasn't until a year later. I thought it wasn't until a year later.
No, it doesn't look like it. Let me see.
I could have sworn that's the history.
The Emancipation Proclamation declared all enslaved people in Confederate States free on January 1st, 1863.
But that didn't count.
It was unenforceable. Okay.
Yeah.
So freedom did not come to Texas. It was Galveston, Texas, until June 19th, 1865, when Major General Gordon Granger arrived in Galveston and read the general orders. So
I guess the Civil War ended in 64. I thought the Civil War ended in 65. But Galveston, Texas, home of the Knowles.
All right.
That's where Beyonce and them is from, Galveston.
I thought they was from Houston.
They from Galveston.
She rep Houston like she from Houston.
I don't think Galveston is far from Houston. But
it's not Houston.
Well,
I've been to Galveston and I've been to Houston.
We rep DC and we really from Gaithersburg.
Well, listen, I don't rep DC. I rep the DMV. I'm very clear about that. I'm very clear.
I get it. But so Lil PP Energy once again holding this, and it's on his birthday too, by the way. And UFC fights don't even happen on Sunday. They happen on Saturday, but it got to be directly on his birthday. Some people have birthday parties the day after their birthday, the day before their birthday, because their birthday falls on a weird day. Not him. He don't care. He going to have everybody stay up late. It's going to be rocking and loud until well past midnight. Anybody who lives close to there is going to be able to hit it. Kids is out of school, so they don't really care. But still, it's just the most ghetto thing, and it's a little pee-pee thing. So two little pee-pee people.
Yep. Two little pee-pee people making our lives miserable.
Yep. What you want to tell these people before we get out of here?
Look, everybody got struggles. Everybody got obstacles and things that they have to overcome. Stop making your difficulties other people's problem. That's all I gotta say about that.
And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for listening. I want to thank you for watching. And until next time, as always, I'll holla. Woo! That was a hell of a show. Thank you for rocking with us here on Unsolicited Perspectives with Bruce Anthony. Now, before you go, don't forget to follow, subscribe, like, comment, and share our podcast wherever you're listening or watching it to it. Pass it along to your friends. If you enjoy it, that means the people that you rock with will enjoy it also. So share the wealth, share the knowledge, share the noise. And for all those people that say, well, I don't have a YouTube. If you have a Gmail account, you have a YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel where you can actually watch our video podcast and YouTube exclusive content. But the real party is on our Patreon page, After Hours Uncensored and Talking Straight-ish. After Hours Uncensored is another show with my sister. And once again, the key word there is uncensored. Those are exclusively on our Patreon page. Jump onto our website at unsolicitedperspective.com for all things us. That's where you can get all of our audio, video, our blogs, and even buy our merch. And if you really feel generous and want to help us out, you can donate on our donations page. Donations go strictly to improving our software and hardware so we can keep giving you guys good content that you can clearly listen to and that you can clearly see. So any donation would be appreciative. Most importantly, I want to say thank you for listening and watching and supporting us. And I'll catch you next time. Audi 5000. Peace.